And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentleman of Crypto, episode 1225. Today is Monday, May 20th, 2024, and I'm King here to bridge the gap between community and crypto most days, Monday through Friday at 10ish. And today's top stories: Grayscale CEO Michael Sonnenschein steps down, U.S. authorities bust $73 million crypto scam, makes 2 arrests. Protonmail exposing activist info showed the limits of encryption, and Dose and Gabbana faces class action lawsuit after alleged NFT delivery delay. But first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and take a quick look at these prices. See if Bitcoin is still Bitcoining, and it looks like it is. Bitcoin is coming in at $67,065, up, or excuse me, down 0.08% now last 24 hours. Ethereum's at $3,090, up 0.15%. BNB at number 4 at $572, down 1.06%. Make sure I'm sharing that screen for you as well. Solana at number 5 at $177, up 5%. Number 7, Ripple at 51 cents, down 0.44%. Number 8, Toncoin at 644, up 0.33%. And number 10, Cardano at 46 cents, down 1.18%. Let's see, for our trending tokens, we have Athena, Super Trump, and Not Coin, of course. Been hearing a lot about that. Black Hole Coin, Simpson, Cat, and Snorkel recently added. Fear and Greed Index is back to a 60. Looks like we're about to have some pumping going on this next week. Bitcoin dominance is at a 54.5 and Ethereum at a 15.3. Woo, market is still marketing all as well on the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency front out there. What's going on, Warriors? JB Bertom Music Group, and it just froze on me. But good morning to all the Warriors jumping in. Let's go ahead and get the show rolling. Don't forget to smash that like and share as well. Top story of the day: Grayscale CEO has stepped down officially. That's right, Michael Sonnenschein has stepped down. The CEO will be replaced by the Goldman Sachs executive Peter Mintzberg, effective August 15th. It is right. The fix is officially in. Wall Street owns Grayscale officially, like all the way officially. This is actually a good thing for Grayscale, or at least the people who are, I don't know, I think they're public, but basically everyone who's invested in Grayscale, this is a good thing. Why? Because the derivatives are about to keep on derivating. You remember I was saying all these smaller teams and firms are going to have to consolidate. Well, by effectively putting them in collaboration and partnerships with Grayscale, or excuse me, with Goldman Sachs, I know it's not going to be exactly a Goldman Sachs, but again, a Goldman Sachs executive, putting them in collaboration with them, putting them in partnership with them, this is going to help close the gap that BlackRock and Fidelity has, right? Goldman Sachs, now you add them to the picture. They have a lot more capital, a lot more buying power, as well as a lot more human capital, right, on Wall Street, with the government, with regulators, with politicians. Some of the things Grayscale may be having issues with, Goldman Sachs would not face those same issues. So again, Michael Sonnenschein will be replaced by former Goldman Sachs executive Peter Mintzberg as of August 15th, according to Barry Silbert, the founder and CEO of Digital Currency Group, the parent company of Grayscale. Silver wrote in a May 20 X post, as we position Grayscale for its next phase of growth, excited to welcome Peter Mintzberg as Grayscale CEO effective August 15th. Joining from Goldman Sachs, Peter has 20 plus years of experience across prominent asset managers, including BlackRock, Oppenheimer Funds, and Invesco. It wouldn't surprise me to see this new hire guide Grayscale through what may be some interesting and volatile financial waters. As you know, Gemini was suing them. They were countersuing. Gemini saying, hey, we had our fund with them, or we borrowed capital from them, or vice versa. They were supposed to be having the money safe and sound. They don't have it. Barry Silbert and, of course, Grayscale as a whole saying, hey, we don't know what Gemini's talking about. So he's inheriting some problems as well as some possible resources. When you think about, now they have a Bitcoin ETF, at least they have a license for that. They do have a lot of long-term investors and holders in the space. So some good and bad they're inheriting, though. But again, this is founded in 2013. Grayscale, amongst the world's first prominent cryptocurrency asset management firms, with over $50 billion worth of assets under management as of September of 2021. So this will be pretty interesting to see what happens next. I think it's going to be a good thing for people who are invested. Why? Because, again, you better believe this new guy, Peter Mintzberg, will be bringing his connections, his friends, and bringing Grayscale fully over to Wall Street and under compliance, regulatory compliance, that is. Track, what's going on? Make sure you check out Weekend Crypto. Just dropped the episode this morning before this show as well. PFC Well said, if anyone else is having issue with the YouTube playback, just looked at my Twitter stream and it was clear with no delay. Not sure what's going on with the YouTube playback right now. All right, U.S. authorities bust $73 million crypto scam. They make 2 arrests. That's right. They said this is the easiest way to attain crypto that no one thought of. You don't need to buy it. You don't need to earn it and offer and trade or mine it. You just need to take it from some scammers. The scammers convinced victims to transfer millions of dollars into U.S. bank accounts, which were then used to launder the illicit funds. That's right. United States authorities arrested 2 individuals accused of masterminding a money laundering scheme. The scheme involved funneling over $73 million through U.S. financial institutions and ultimately converting the funds into Tether's USDT token. The U.S. Justice Department announced on Friday, May 17th, that Darren Lee was arrested at Atlanta's airport in the United State of Georgia on April 12th, and Yiching Zhang was arrested in Los Angeles on Thursday, May 16th. An indictment charging the pair was unsealed in the California court on May 16, revealing their alleged roles in the scheme. Lee, Zhang, and their cohorts allegedly ran a transnational criminal network that laundered millions from pig butchering. Oh, these are these people. Crypto scams where fraudsters gained victims' trust, convinced them to invest large sums, and then disappear with the funds. If you remember, this has been an ongoing story. This whole pig butchering schemes were overseas. Apparently, they're actually kidnapping people and holding them, holding them either for ransom or just forcing them to work and essentially impersonate people for 16 to 20 hours a day to find American and wealthy people to scam them out of all their, again, as you saw in this story, their fiat currency over to crypto so they can put them on fake websites, fake exchanges, fake wallets, so on and so forth. And the scammers can steal everything all at once. So the defendants allegedly instructed co-conspirators to open U.S. bank accounts in the name of shell companies. The scammers convinced victims to transfer millions of dollars into these U.S. bank accounts, which were then used to launder the illicit funds. According to the DOJ, the money was subsequently dispersed to various domestic and international bank accounts. The DOJ stated the fraud scheme involved more than $73 million laundered through U.S. financial institutions to bank accounts in the Bahamas and converted to the virtual asset USDT or Tether. A cryptocurrency wallet involved in the scheme received more than $341 million in virtual assets. So it looks like they could receive a maximum sentence of 20 years, potentially totaling 140 years behind bars if it's going to be 20 years per count. This is crazy. And yeah, I mean, this is madness that this is actually happening. And it looks like another win for the DOJ, especially if they get these funds. Then you're looking at what, another $341 million you could possibly convert over to Bitcoin at some point. So another big win on this side. And hey, at least they're stopping the scammers. This thing has been going crazy as well. Let's see what else we have going on. What's going on, Jake? What up, though? TL. Let's see. Protonmail. Oh my goodness. I saw this story. My heart dropped. I said, not them too. Listen, I'm not mad. I understand. It's two ways it usually happens. Either they have to make a buck and they sell the data, or the government is pressing, knocking the doors down and wants answers for quote unquote terrorism or money laundering, things like that. And finally, companies have to say, hey, we can't be caught up in a legal battle with the government or police or whatever. Here you go. But that usually effectively ends whatever type of narrative that they had going. We're decentralized. We can't be hacked. We can't even break into your password protected, whatever. Well, this is a story about that. Protonmail exposing activist info showed the limits of encryption. That's right. An April report revealed that Protonmail assisted Spanish police with locating one of his users, leading to questions about his guarantees of privacy. Now, one thing I will say is if you're using Protonmail and you're using it specifically for that privacy feature and to add another layer to your anonymity online, I think I said that right. You should also be using a VPN, right? So I use Protonmail. I have Protonmail accounts, but I have never been on my Protonmail account without using a VPN, like ever. It's just second nature. It's like when I'm going to my Protonmail, I'm using a VPN. So it's one of those things where you can't kind of like you can't halfway do it. You're like, well, I'm use the software, but I'm not going to cover the path I use to actually use the software. If that makes sense. So you can't kind of halfway do it. It doesn't really make sense. Now, if you're only doing it for hackers, then yes, it does make sense, and it's not a big deal. If it's like I'm just really doing this to stop as many, a hacking trail or whatever, cool. You can still layer up more by adding that VPN. But if you're doing to circumvent law enforcement, which you shouldn't be doing anyway, then I mean you're really blowing it by just using the Proton Mail part and not the VPN. But regardless, them being Proton Mail assisting the Spanish police with locating one of their users have now led to questions about the guarantees of his privacy, because that is the narrative and the messaging of what they're promoting is that, hey, this is probably one of the most private email servers you can have out there. So Proton AG, this Swiss company behind Proton Mail, the popular encrypted email service, came under fire in April for complying with a request from Spanish police for information about one of his users, a Catalan pro-independence activist. Woo! Here's the thing too. When Proton Mail, my pushback against Proton Mail has been that it's a Swiss company, it's brand new, and it hasn't been tested. Like that was the cybersecurity advice I received from a cybersecurity professional was that, hey, it's good and everything, but it's just so new and it hasn't been tried and tested. And I kind of look at emails and browsers and servers, their tests that they need to go through, their stress test to me is the same as the ones crypto see, where it's like, well, you need to enter that top 5 first. We got to figure out, can you actually scale? Are you actually private? Are you actually decentralized? How will you respond to regulation? And to me, they feel against that same stress test where it's like, okay, Proton Mail, you've been doing great as far as scaling. You've been doing great as far as the privacy features and these things. But how do you actually scale when it comes to regulation, or in this matter, not a regulatory body, but an actual enforcement body, the police? How do you react? And we've seen how you react. So the problem with that is slippery slope. One day the police are saying, hey, this is a murder suspect. Maybe the next day they're saying it was a rigged election. The next day, maybe they're saying everyone who voted left or voted right or voted up or down, right? So as it says here, it's obvious why that was a controversial move. It feels gross when the good guys get sold out by a company that promises privacy. But if you're pissed off at Proton for complying with legal requests, you need to reassess your fantasies about privacy tech. Again, I agree. Is one thing when you're talking about Bitcoin specific and things that spur from Bitcoin, the type of networks that spur from it, the type of ideals where you're talking about real decentralization, or as decentralized as you can get, where no one's really owning it. Everyone's downloading it. It's being shared and shared across. The software is open source. You can fork it. You can change it. You can do different things with it, right? Most projects and companies don't do it. That's the difference between cryptocurrency. Most of them are being created by one person or a group of people, and they're being kept by one person and a group of people. They're not keeping that technology and that information open source and the software open source, allowing everyone to download it or change it or do whatever with it. They're still keeping it very centralized. So yes, if it's a centralized project or company or like a chat GPT or something like that, it will have its limitations to it. And it's definitely going to have its limitations as far as privacy goes when you're talking about the federal government or governments, depending on where you're at. So I do agree with this article. But regardless, I think it was just important to kind of bring this to everyone's attention. I didn't realize this has even happened. I was going to check more into it to see, what type of actual terms of service Protonmail has and what they're promising. I did think they were promising full privacy, a little bit of decentralization as much as you can get it as far as if server base goes. But again, to see them actually give this up to the police, not the best thing. So here's another tweet here. Everyone hating on Proton privacy and saying cancel subscriptions is missing the point entirely. This case actually proves how powerful Protonmail is, not the opposite. Europol brought a court order to Proton, and the most Proton could provide was the user's recovery email address, which obviously Proton has to be able to see to send recovery emails. I'm not even sure you even have to add that, to be honest, as well. If the suspect had used Apple or Google for email and Europol had gone to Apple or Google, they have disclosed their entire email history among many other details. The vital difference with Proton is that they built an architecture that minimizes the amount of data they have on any user for privacy reasons. That architecture was proven in this case, not disproven. If you have an extremely targeted threat model, i.e., you are a dissident or activist, simply do the following. Don't link any recovery contact info. Use a non-Proton VPN or Tor when accessing Protonmail. P.S. No company is going to jail for your $5 a month throwaway email account, but all companies should limit the info they have on users like Proton has done. So yes and no. I agree with this statement as far as it being layers and levels to this. And when you look at Apple and Gmail and Google, or even your private servers too, to be honest, if you think about for the people who run their own private servers, I have some of my own private servers. It's like, yeah, well, they press the server company, they're going to do the same thing essentially for the most part. Um, I agree. As I already stated, the VPNs is the biggest workaround. The second thing is, yeah, if someone's breaking the law, which they shouldn't be, and you're using a recovery email, then yeah, this. So my thing is, they should just be forward with it as far as, hey, there is privacy to a certain extent. If a law is being broken or we're being subpoenaed, then yes, we will give any account information, but your actual emails are still private and safe. Maybe they should distinguish the two if there is a distinguishable difference. But I mean, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Like every company is going to do it. But yeah, for people who are actually linking recovery emails, not using VPNs, and committing crimes, and I mean, hey, they should probably get caught. It's a good thing that these people are getting caught. Okay, they're going to leave a trail of tears. This is nothing. It's not good. Let's see what else. What we got going on in the comments. Tonio said Protonmail 2014 to 2024. I know, man. Listen, as long as they're only giving that overall look of an account, like I said, maybe the dump email address, the email address itself, then it's not terrible. But if they're actually giving access to the emails or they have it, then yeah, it's over with. Antonio said this title almost gave me a heart attack. Proton, listen, this was definitely a clickbait title. I was like, oh, what? Proton's going through it? Are they officially dead? We have to figure it out. We have to figure it out. Expect more stories of this, like people scamming. Listen, there's a ton of scammers out there right now. I don't know if it's the markets, what's going on, the printing of monies. COVID left a scamming culture out there. I don't know what's happening. There's a lot of scammers going on. Can VPNs be layered like Nord and malware bytes on the same device? So I'm not actually sure. I haven't tried to do that, but I know you can add the Tor network and the VPN as well. So that's two ways to layer it and obfuscate everything. I can never say that word. But I'm not sure if you can layer a VPN on the VPN. My first question of that would be what would be the browsing experience, right? You would definitely need high upload, download speeds and all that good stuff because it would be severely strained going through two different servers like that. But you can also do like virtual servers and go through VPNs that way as well. That can add another layer too. Off the top of my head, I would think you go through a virtual machine or virtual server, jump on a Tor network VPN. So that will add another layer as well. But again, you really want to layer up for scammers. If you're the tips I give here and tips we give here and talk about, like this is for the average scammer trying to get you, like the average 17, 16-year-old to the 28-year-old who just shits and giggles, see how many people I get, or even low-level operation out there, right? If you're a person who has a business with hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars plus in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, you should be hiring a cybersecurity professional. Or if you're a person who got big enough, cojones to go after one of these governments or face off against them and commit some crimes, then once again, yeah, I don't know. You need to have whatever system you have in place. But by and large, just doing a VPN and Proton Mail will protect you against these scammers out there as they are trying to get your information, things like that. So that's what I'm mostly giving tips and advice to. Anything beyond that, get a pro. Get a pro. You better get one of them cyberpunks. All right, last but not least, someone else who should have got a pro. Dolce and Gabbana faces class action lawsuit after alleged NFT delivery delay. This was one of those things where it was like, hey, everyone jumped into the NFT market, but it was like, I don't think people thought about uh, the regulation side of things, what could happen from the regulatory environment, the tax part of it, or what can happen from the actual development part. Like, will these things be delivered on time? Will they have any problems? What wallets would you use? So on and so forth. That's what I can guess from this title since I haven't read it. We're about to dig into it. The suit alleges that delays in delivery caused purchase NFTs to lose 97% of the value. Boom. There you have it. Yeah. So, yeah. This was like something I kind of saw early on with a couple of companies I spoke to who wanted to do NFTs or people when I was just like, hey, it's so early even for me. It was like I'm not the person to run you through the process of creating one and marketing one and X, Y, and Z. And this was like early on. And I was like, this is something you want to think about because if you start putting dates out there and you're not pushing these NFTs out by then, like it could cause different things in the market to happen as far as what people are speculating they're going to be worth. If people even have capital put away for them, it could be competing projects where they spend that capital at. But it looks like this may have happened here. A disgruntled customer has filed a class action lawsuit. Once again, this is how regulations and regulators come into the market against Italian fashion brand Dolce and Gabbana and digital assets platform UNXD after alleged delays in delivering non-fungible token NFT products caused the digital assets to lose 97% of their value. According to a report from Bloomberg, a customer identified as Luke Brown paid $6,000 for DG family NFTs, a Dolce and Gabbana product combining digital and physical assets as privileges and experiences within the brand's greater ecosystem. When I see DG families NFTs, I think Dungeon Family. Shout out to anybody who remembers Dungeon Family. Future was in Dungeon Family, wasn't he? Clash action. The NFTs were allegedly delivered over a week late, during which their value plummeted by $5,800. A set of accompanying outfits for the NFTs, purportedly meant for display in the metaverse, was further delayed by 11 days after initial delivery. Brown has filed a class action suit on behalf of all customers who purchased the NFTs, alleging that Dolce and Gabbana and UNXD failed to deliver on promises made at the point of transaction. According to the report, the delivery delays occurred after Dolce and Gabbana failed to obtain approval for the accompanying assets from the UNXD NFT platform. It's unclear at this time how many customers have been affected by the alleged delays. So this is, as they're highlighting here, an industry concern, something we've highlighted in the past. And I wouldn't say it's just an industry concern for NFTs. It's an industry concern for the entire market, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency specific as a whole. And that's every market, every person. We're in the world of grifting these days. We are in the time of grifting. Everyone just wants to, I see a hot thing, I want to jump on it. I don't care if it goes against my morals or how much it costs or whatever. I just want to jump on that hot thing for volume. So with that happening, in most markets, is not like such a big fail, but we know in this space, in these spaces, there are and there can be so many fails because you can get hacked. The government's going to come at you for things you did 4, 5, 6 years ago. You can get hacked, right? You can get scammed. Products won't be developed properly. You will get products developed later than what you want. They won't come out on time. So all these issues that places like Dolce and Gabbana, frankly, shouldn't, or I wouldn't want to be the first persons to experiment with, right? It's kind of like the new hot altcoins. Like, would you rather, put the majority of your portfolio on Bitcoin or into that new hot altcoin? It's like, if you want to bet the house, you putting everything on red. If you walk in the casino, you think like that, true. But if you're trying to be conservative, that's definitely not the way you want to go. So I think it's the same thing when I look at the Dolce and Gabbana's going into the NFTs and metaverses of the world. It's like, I get it. Everyone wants to set up earlier and get their market share. But on the flip side, is like, do you have the expertise, subject matter experts in house, or even on a contractual basis to move forward with this? Or is it just a novel idea to get a quick fix, to get a quick pump of money? So I don't know. We'll see. But I'll tell you what, if this class action goes through and they win, then I don't think the NFT venture would have been worth it for Dolce and Gabbana. All right. Other than that, that is the show for the day. Let me look at the last couple of comments, see what we have. Jake Fever said, I see a class action lawsuit coming for all content creators that promoted any leverage trading site. They're just waiting on them to get rich to take that bag. So the thing is, I can see like a class action lawsuit against content creators. I'm not sure how much it will hold up, only because there's so many. And it would be one thing if content creators as a whole work together, where it was just like, well, we worked with this content creator, this content creator. If anything, I could see it going at YouTube, or if there were some type of class action against content creators. How did the FTX thing work against influencers? Haven't been keeping up with that. I haven't checked that out. But if there were something where it was like, okay, we're going after all content creators as a content creator, I would be like, all right, well, I'm rolling that over to YouTube. Like, like, what are we talking about here? This is not my own private channel and show, and they restrict everything else they want to restrict. Why stop here, right? So it'll be one of those things where the buck will just keep rolling. I don't know. It said they could be sued like the BitConnect guys. But what happened with the Bitcoin, even when it came to Bitcoin trade, what exactly happened? I don't know. I don't know. A lot of stuff was kept under wraps. So I gotta go back and check. Local TX said that clipboard malware that takes advantage of the lazy copy paste people. You already know that's crazy. What are people doing drawing that kind of attention to begin with, to have government want to take a peek? You already know this is crazy. Let's see. What else do we have? AI will increase scams. I agree. I mean, the moment somebody codes a way to like scam, email, call, and everything, I mean, I'm sure it's already been programmed, but to just do everything that a scammer can do, but an AI like a software program can do it, is really going to be over when you got bots running like that. That would be terrible. All right. Other than that, that is the show for today. Again, smash that like and share, and I will see you all Wednesday.